Now, it's a big season for Darrell Clarke and Bristol Rovers as he's gone back there to with one sort of simple goal in mind to get them straight back up to League One at the first time of asking. He's had promotion experience before. He's gone away and done some fantastic things as a manager in terms of the EFL, those lower sort of League Two, League One periods. He's experienced promotion. I feel he's probably the perfect sort of appointment for Bristol Rovers and where they want to be. They obviously fell real short with Inigo Calderon, and that sort of really petered out, not the best way they possibly could have. They've got a strong squad really for League Two, but maybe some younger talent needs to slightly be injected and given that freedom to come and play minutes this season. It's going to be a tough League Two division. But Bristol Rovers are looking, positive that they can go and really try and give it a good go. So Dan, our Bristol correspondent, Dan, just talk to us a bit about the transfer latest. What's sort of going on behind the scenes as Darrell Clarke shapes up for this campaign? Because it's something that that there is outside pressure, that there is going to be pressure mounting, that he needs to get a promotion job confirmed and another one added to his CV as well. So where are the Gas at the moment? How are they feeling going into this season? And what's the transfer situation looking like for Bristol Rovers? Because as we said before, it's a big season and one that it's going to have to be hitting the ground running and making sure they aren't there or thereabouts come the end of the season.
Well, Charles, after what was a rather chaotic start to the transfer window, things settling down a little bit at Bristol Rovers, but they have just added a new goalkeeper to their ranks in Luke Southwood, who has said he's prepared to fight for the #1 spot at the club, and he's also very much looking forward to playing in front of the crowd at the Memorial Stadium, having been on the other side of that in the past. And I think it's an interesting situation at the moment at Bristol Rovers because they've brought in a lot of players. So clearly Darrell Clarke and director Ricky Martin are having an impact on the club in terms of the recruitment and enticing players to come to the club. And I think that says a lot about actually what they're selling to these players, because clearly, despite the fact that they have been relegated, Bristol Rovers are still an attractive club to join for all these players. Obviously, League Two is a step down from League One in terms of overall quality and the attractiveness of clubs to join for these players, but ultimately Bristol Rovers are still bringing in lots of names, and I think that says a lot about the club as a whole. And even though it's gone down, that's Darrell Clarke and Ricky Martin are still appearing to make it seem a club that players want to join. And what I think they're being clever about as well is they're bringing in players who not only will be good for League Two, but they'll also be good if they do take their step up back to League One, that they'll still have the quality within their ranks to then compete again at a League One level. I'm not saying that the current squad that they've got now would do particularly well in League One, because of course they probably are buying more players who are more suited to League Two at this moment in time. But as I say, players who could, if needs be, play in League One and do all right there, then obviously they'd have to add more League One standard players as well. But they've certainly got players who are versatile and able to make that step up, and I think that's really key. So clearly at the moment, Bristol Rovers being run very well, and I think for supporters at least, after what was obviously a dismal end to the campaign last season, they'll be happy. I mean, obviously I've reported countless times on how Bristol Rovers supporters took well to the fact that Darrell Clarke came back into the club, and obviously, yes, it was a quick win in terms of PR for the fans bringing someone like him back in, but ultimately actually he's a person who knows the club really well, and he's a talented coach. And it wasn't just a PR win in the sense of, yes, he's been there before and he's been successful with them before, because actually he's had some down moments with them before as well. But ultimately, he's a coach that actually is good and has lots of experience at this level of English football and knows his way around this level, and indeed Bristol Rovers as a club themselves. So actually it could work out to be quite a shrewd move. And in terms of who they've brought in so far, I think it's looking like a shrewd move. Ricky Martin certainly said when Darrell Clarke came in, he was very happy with things in terms of how he fits at the club. And also, let's be honest, Ricky Martin doing a good job in terms of the recruitment as well, alongside Darrell Clarke, in terms of bringing in players to the club. So ultimately, a feel-good factor at Bristol Rovers in the transfer market at the moment, and that is what supporters will want at the club. Obviously, things can only be decided on when the club starts playing at the start of next season, but things are good at the moment.